allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of solemn prayer for our country, for what's going on over in Afghanistan, and the council members that are sitting over here tonight to make the right decisions. Amen. Okay, it is Tuesday evening, September 7th, 5:30 in the evening. We're in the Town of Bath Municipal Center. Can I have the roll call, please?
Scott Murphy,
Here.
Rick Weber, Greg Thorney.
Here.
Rose Jackson. Here. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Chris Chapman.
Here.
And Susan Webster's here.
Okay, we have a review of the minutes from the Tuesday, August 17th meetings. I'll take any additional corrections if there are any, and common consent. Looked good to me, but there may be something that I missed. Everything okay?
Any consent?
Yeah, common consent, everybody okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, persons before council, we have Hunter here this evening, and we will let him have the floor so that he can. What are you trying to make a lot of noise or what?
Yeah,
Water
Touch and
bottle
go.
for these thoughts.
I went to the county commissioners and they gave us a lot up there. And I asked them, I said, since they built the pads for the containers, I said, you guys got any money to level this spot out for 12 to 24? And they said, come back to the town. So I had to come back to the town to satisfy them. If you guys ain't got no money, I guess we'll do it ourselves.
This is about the yellow building and
Mhm.
from the depot lot up to the Pines.
We'll take care of moving.
And we'll take care of moving it. You just need the lot level.
I don't think it's gonna take much. It's just for the containers.
Is it actually on the parking lot that is gonna be sitting, or
It's
is
where
it?
the containers, you know where the containers are.
Right,
Okay, there's a grassy area, almost slipped my Spanish up there. To the left of the containers, I think would be perfect. It's not gonna take that much. So
Is the
if you
county
could load
gonna
me
allow-
Rodney or something,
would the county allow us to go up there in that grass and?
Yeah.
And level?
And it's, we're gonna, it needs excavation or?
It just needs-
Cinder blocks or what is?
You just need to level
the platform off there.
You said it could Rodney help, what would you want Rodney to do?
Possibly take an excavator. You guys got an excavator?
No, we don't have one. We've got the.
How big of an, I mean, with a Bobcat?
It's a 12 to 24 foot building.
Yeah, we've got the skid loader. We also have a backhoe that if you could get in there with it, I think the skid loader would probably do
Any
it.
problem with access?
Yeah, it's a big old open area.
Right in there?
No.
He put 2 containers in there, and I'm hoping to put a third here before long.
Council, I mean, it is for the Christmas project.
I make a motion that we, help, or that we level the lot to put the yellow building when it's moved from the depot lot to the Pines.
Well, I like to have it level before I move.
Yes, yeah, okay. To level that lot so the building will sit perfectly.
I'll
And
second.
okay, I think one thing we need to add to that, just to be on the safe side, is to have the county just give us permission, because it is county property. I would like to have permission from the county. I just don't want to get into a brouhaha that we're okay to go up there and level, and hopefully you could be there that
Yeah, I'll be
day.
there. I'll be there for sure.
Like I
You
said,
want Steph or a commissioner to call you, or
We should
They
call
can just
them.
also say send an email.
yeah, they can just send me an email saying, hey, it's okay, or I guess an email will do all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, just something that we have documentation that they said, hey, it's okay. I'd hate to go up there and not have all our ducks in a row. I mean, it's not that I don't believe you, Hunter, but I just, in today's world, I don't want to go up there and somebody from the county or somebody come in, oh, you're not supposed to be in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want them to to give me an assurance that there's no problem if we go up, take a backhoe, skid loader, whatever, we do the level.
I don't trust an organization to have to be the president, so.
Okay,
Give me your phone number. What I'll do is, once we get, okay from them, I'll have Rodney call you, and he can go up there and show him exactly what, give me your number.
304-671-3012. That's what's up.
Okay.
Now, the next thing he brought up, instead of doing Wilk Street, they like to see North Washington Street done. So there's nothing down on this end of town. And I kind of like that idea. So,
it's kind of dark once you hit the light down here, it's dark.
yeah,
I have said that, we tried to kind of do little decorations a couple of years ago, and we put some ribbons around the poles and stuff like that.
but we have those 4-foot reeds that was donated to us. Been setting up in the trailer for the container for 3 years now. And I like getting them up. So, the electrician, what's the story with him?
Actually, I talked to him the other day, and I haven't been able to get back to him. Let me call him tomorrow. Let me call Dave.
It's sneaking up on us. It's like
Yeah, well,
100
it won't
some
take
days.
that long, what we gotta do down there. If we got the lift that you guys got that's more than high enough to get up there,
Yeah,
shouldn't take that long some morning, early before a lot of traffic gets on the road, we can take care of that. And then if you need to talk to him about if we're gonna need power down on this northern end,
I kind of like just get them up this year
okay,
and then come back with the power because
okay,
I've got a lot on my plate right now.
okay, yeah, I understand. So I'll get a hold of Dave and I'll get a hold of you and we'll get a time scheduled here in I'd say the next month or so. And, cause we need to get those, where that truck hit that pole, we need to get that stretched across there, and we need to go the one down from it to go across to get the one in the park.
Yeah, the insurance was supposed to pay me back on that. They never did
On what?
for buying that bracket and stuff, replacing on that pole.
We'll just
Shelled out $100 on the bracket and stuff up there. That's all right.
Well, we need to, shoot, okay, we'll figure out something on that, okay?
All right.
I'll
That's
get a
all.
hold of Dave, I'll get a time where we can get together, I'll probably, wait until probably 2 weeks, maybe right after our next council meeting, maybe we can get a time together, cause I know there's things going on in your life right now, and we'll go from there.
All right.
So, alright,
Thank you, guys.
Sharon, if you just let me know when you get the authorization from the county commissioners, and I'll get Rodney and Hunter together and make that happen.
alright. Okay, we have the, North Berkeley Rails to Trail remediation celebration on the, 10th of this month, which is Friday. Jeez. Okay. Friday, so, and what time you guys, yeah, I got it here, I just didn't.
We are going to be planting about 200 recipients. We have, the garden club are bringing, recipient cuttings. We're gonna put the cone and the trench that was done is ready. So that'll be starting at 10. We'll go to 11. We're providing some refreshments for them, coffee and some pastries. And then at 11, at the depot, we'll be starting the speeches, which I'll be serving as the master of ceremonies. Scott will be kicking off the speeches.
Why don't I always get in trouble for that?
I just got word that our EPA program manager and division director are not going to be able to attend. They did not get approved for travel. So unfortunately, they won't be here. But the Chesapeake Bay Trust folks will be coming in. And then we have a number of other guests. that we'll be talking to. And then after that, we'll have a reception across the street. Additionally, some light refreshments, a tour, if we want, and then we'll move everybody down at about 12:30 to the green infrastructure area on Washington Street and Congress Street, since a number of people haven't seen Congress Street. Should be a good day.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
It's gonna be nice weather too, I think.
It's gonna be great weather.
All
And,
right,
and I appreciate all the help that we've gotten from Rodney and the waterworks guys for watering. the trees on Congress and Washington Street. We had some seriously hot, dry weather, and that was pretty difficult, but I've got assurances that the trees are gonna snap out of it. They don't look so great right now, but they should snap out of it and be good soon. And we're getting some plants in the planter boxes. Have things nice and Rodney's working on the depot. It got mowed today. They're doing a really nice job of cleaning things up. So it's gonna be nice, and I hope to see all of you there. I have additional flyers if anybody wants one or has somebody to put them up around town. I'll be handing some of them out. If anybody needs one. Next, any questions?
All right. Okay, we'll move on then. Thank you. Thank you for all the work you're doing on that, Rebecca. I appreciate it. We have a application here. We've got, Big Dogs Family Off-Roading, Lisa Stein, is going to be doing an event. It's a Jeep weekend or whatever. They're gonna probably do most of it the way it looks over in the parking lot where the Cape and Brewery is, but they're gonna need parking for people coming in. And she asked me about this a couple weeks ago. I told her, well, this thing in. They're just gonna be parking cars on that lot like we would for Apple Butter. Nobody's gonna be on that lot. There's not gonna be any events on that lot. I talked to her today. She had another appointment that she had to be down south, so she couldn't be here. So she's gonna do it September the 24th and 26th. And I said, you know all about it, so.
Well, yeah, and it
yeah.
seems to be fine with me that if the police is involved and the BDA is actually doing the organizing, and I guess this is a group that's working with the BDA as far as that goes. And if BDA is involved, then it's already a town organization. We're under our
It's covered under
insurance,
that.
it's,
Right.
and the whole thing is to help town businesses and bring business to town on what may be a slower weekend. And now without apple butter, and getting little, all these things do count. These little events do count and bring people to town, so.
I think it would be good to let them park on the lot. I mean, like you said,
They're
I,
not charging, it's
No.
not like it's
They're not charging
Christmas tree.
right, they're not charging a price. She just needs overflow parking for people coming in, because it's gonna be, from what I understand, a substantial amount of Jeeps and stuff gonna be in here. So, and I know, she said it's gonna be upwards, she's thinking probably at least close to what that Jeeps for whatever that fellow, yeah, Georgia, whatever was back, last year or 2 years ago. She said there's gonna be a lot of Jeeps. There's a lot of people into this kind of stuff, like off-roading Jeeps and, all that kind of stuff. So, so I would, if council's okay, I think, we should approve this
I
for
make a
her.
motion, I make a motion that we approve, for, Lisa Stein and the Big Dogs Family Off-Road Group. Lisa Stein, President of Bath Development Authority, and Big Dogs Family Off-Road to use the depot parking lot for the weekend of 24th through 26th.
Is this being
Parking.
sponsored by the BDA?
BDA is
Yeah.
organizing, yes, and so I guess this group,
And
This is the
That's-
group that's coming.
BDA is insured with us. It is under
Yeah. Yeah,
part of the town.
they're already insured under the town. So, do I have a second? Okay, have a motion and a second on the floor to, let, Lisa Stein with the BDA, the Bath Development and the Big Dogs Family Off-Road Group do this event September 26th or 24th, 26th, and park cars in the depot parking lot. Any more discussion?
Should we put something in there that we're waiving a usage fee?
Do what?
Should we put something in there that we're waiving the usage fee that we normally charge people to use the lot?
Yeah, I would say too. Yes, the BDA is part of the town, so,
Okay, make that part of the motion.
okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. So
Can I
we'll
ask
let
you
her
something before you go on? Is it an event just to bring people into town so they can, they're all coming in Jeeps, I guess? and-
Yeah, the way it sounds, I've never actually seen this, but she says it's a big deal,
Good.
um,
For the town, the
yeah,
town will be able to benefit from it,
right.
but they're just gonna park there, but
They're
are they
gonna
gonna
be
do
down
something
there,
at
she's
the,
gonna do some things down in the parking lot down there at the brewery to kind of bring people in that way.
They're going up to the Boys and Girls
Yeah.
Club has their grand opening of their new facility,
okay,
next to the Canary Grill that Saturday morning, so the group's going up there. There are just different things that this group of Jeep drivers,
okay.
are gonna be going to.
I'll get more information from Lisa
There's a
then.
Kentucky Derby in the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be,
It's
Good
gonna be,
benefit for the town, yeah.
she was, Susan just alluded, of course, we've lost the apple butter for
Yeah.
the second year in a row, which is very unfortunate because I know there's a lot of people that, come from far and wide and, around town and everything that enjoy that weekend, but it's just there's no way they could make it work to guarantee everybody's safety with the COVID. So,
Trish, I would, if I were you, call Lisa.
I will.
about it.
Yeah, I'll get the
She can
information
give you
from
a
her.
whole Agenda.
yeah, she can give you more
Yeah.
details right down to the wire,
And
exactly.
they were going to be putting on the BDA Facebook page and
Okay.
the
Right.
website.
I'll just
Information
take,
about it as well.
yeah, I'll get the info so that I can write it up, yeah.
And then also remember, September 18th at 2 p.m., Vietnam Veterans Memorial down there.
Did we vote on this thing?
Which
Did
one?
we vote on the Jeep thing?
Yeah, yeah, it has. So just, like I said, remember the date of the 18th, Vietnam Vets
Yeah.
Memorial, 2 p.m. It's gonna be dedication and everything, right? They're gonna dedicate it and all down there for it. Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, we're gonna move on then. The Bath Development, which we've already kind of taken care of their business right here. Their next meeting is the 6th of next month, at 4:30, via Zoom or in person. Parks and Recs, I saw that she had sent here, everything was, she said they didn't have anything to report from her director, and that was about it. Said, hope everybody's doing well, she said. So anyway, Planning Commission, we have a request, and I think it's in your packet, from, get it on the right page real quick. Yep. And, he is wishing to hopefully, be put on the, Planning Commission. Susan and I was just talking about, that, trying to get it started back up. So if you would like to speak to council about anything, and introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
All right, so for those of you I haven't met, my name is Larry Landon. Retired from the Marine Corps 4 months ago, but not counting. We bought a house right at the end of Wilk Street 3 years ago. And so we're transitioning to Berkeley Springs. I've been here about 3 years. Like I said, retired, keeping busy with Boy Scouts and American Legion and the church and those kind of things, and more to my community. So looked at the plan. In the Marine, I had a lot of background in planning and some big program management and those kind of things. So I thought it would be a good fit for my services. So that's where I am.
Cool. Okay. Well, like I said, kind of fell by the wayside. Rebecca was our last in charge, and I think you're kind of wanting to back away from it a little bit because you got so much going on with everything else. So we're gonna try to maybe get something up. So if you have any information from the Planning Commission, if you would either give it to Susan or myself. I know you're busy, and I know there's things.
After I get through, the next couple of months.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
But like I said, we're gonna work on trying to get that all back together and start doing that. So as soon as we get things formed, hopefully here in the next few months, we'll be in contact, and hopefully be able to sit down and then we'll decide from there which way we need to go. Basically, it's completely almost dissolved. I mean, all the commissions are completely up, you know, as far as how many years. I think it was, what, 3-year commissions. And so, like I said, Susan and I are going to be talking back and forth and see what we can do about kind of bringing it up out of the,
I'd like to see Mr. Landon put on the, so we could make
Well,
a series.
right. And I think that would be good. So we can't vote on anything or do anything until we actually have it on the agenda. So, but we're really thankful that you came down and introduced yourself and everything. So, you know, that way, you know, we're always looking for people to help us out. I mean, these two back here are some big volunteers in this community right now. We wouldn't have our streetscapes project that's just wrapping up downtown, and we definitely wouldn't have our rails and trails if it wasn't for those two sitting there. And a few of the other members that actually started that have kind of moved on or not in the committees no more or whatever. We've got a lot of people that originally started this. Susan was involved with it in the beginning and everything. So it's
Larry Lauer.
Larry
And
Lauer.
you know, Larry, now this is funny because I used to call him LL. Because I was like, you know, and I
And
don't
here I
know,
am.
maybe there's a
Yeah.
LL in our
So,
future.
so anyway, like I said, thank you very much for being willing to come and offer your services. So we will be in contact as soon as we get our ducks in a row to get this thing fired back up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you'll definitely go on the next agenda so that we can, you know, make it official.
Make that big decision.
Right. And hopefully by then we'll have some more information and maybe a few other people that'll, you know, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right, let's move down to then, rails and trails.
Right. You did get my fully illustrated update, right? The good news is the final thing that finishes off parcel 3 is the deed. And the last word we have is the deed has been executed from CSX and is on the way to the county for recording. And it's nice that will likely get recorded right as the EPA grant lapses the end of September. It's nothing like the last minute stuff. So, and it clears, I mean, the lot that is sort of tidied up, with what Rebecca had Penny Brothers do, and fertilize and dig the ditch that allows the garden club to have fun on Saturday morning, Friday morning. I'm working with Sharon to roll up the final finances because they're still rolling around, but I believe we're in very good shape to pay all the bills and not have too much left over. EPA likes you to spend what they give you, so, but we're more on the side of more than having less, which is never good. And I think we're ready for the September 10th thing because we have a couple of days left.
Yeah.
Do your best work every day on day long. So, I think, that for our portion of parcel 3, that should finish it. We've done everything and more than what we expected out of that grant. On the other hand, the DOH side, which is the main parcel piece of the lot for the trail and the parking area. The last meeting we had with the county, had been a discussion with Rayleigh over. Joel talked to him about including the stuff we had in the letter from you, Scott, that said you got to include this,
Right.
this stuff to get remediated correctly and use our LRS, and you just can't wing it down there.
Mhm.
That's been acknowledged. I'm not sure what that means. I'd like to see it rules.
Right.
The financial agreement was supposed to show up for Stephanie by the end of August. I have no idea if it showed up. I'll check with her to see if it did.
Right.
That's a key because it appears the county has the money for their share. And there would be another estimate in there. And that was being hung up because they had some outstanding estimates and such from HDR, the originator of this.
Right.
And I'm sort of a step back from that because I think Joel
and Gary and Bill Clark out of the Golden School.
Right.
So, I think we're in good shape there. Then, well, I don't know how we may be in good shape there. And then the final on phase 4A, the crew left town sort of piecemeal over the last week. They did a pretty good job of cleaning up the depot lot. I sent you a couple of photos and loaded the important stuff on a truck and it left on Thursday. There's still a Connex box and a quarter line down there. They will be picked up. In that case, I think it looks pretty good.
And it's on.
Yeah. The sign, oh, the traffic sign?
Yeah, but we're gonna use them on Friday and since, if they don't take them.
Okay, well, it's a, I guess they ruined it. And, there's one job left, which is the electrics, the receptacles and the floor planners. Conduits in, they had, the West Virginia light and signal hadn't pulled the wire in, they're coming back, they're supposed to be here this week.
Right.
The MCIS called me, there's none of them left in town, so I guess it's me. I will get down and make sure things come out. And that will finish the job completely. And I think they did a good job at the end. We had a cleanup crew from MCI. These are the people who go in and have gone in when another crew has screwed up, not been very good, and have sent in to finish well. And they've left us to go down to Lewisburg to do the same thing.
Oh, my.
To finish somebody else's job.
My.
They don't like
Clean
it.
up somebody else's mess.
Yeah, they are the crew that cleans up other people's mess and finishes.
Right.
And you could tell. And I think that was a good crew and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the last crew that was in here seemed like, I was watching, seemed like they were doing, kind of trying to fix some of the stuff that had been done wrong, or, I noticed they tore up this corner down here like 3 or 4 times.
Well, that's the last crew.
Yep, that was the
We
last
had
crew.
to have the cleanup crew first.
Well,
Maybe we should
then
do
what,
that first.
this apparently is a company tradition. But I mean, and Ray Patrick, the ADA czar from the state, came by several times and he was listened to. They understood what was going on and the subtleties of those corners. And there are subtleties.
Right.
You can't see them. They're flats, they're slopes, everything is, and Ray Patrick came by and blessed all of that. So even these skewed warning strips that no longer line up with the ghost painted crosswalks,
Right.
right? And because Ray's first rule was, don't pay attention to the crosswalk. They were not installed and associated with the right proper corner. So, Ray hasn't been back, but I'm guessing it'll all pass. And I will try over next time to figure out how much did that cost, the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, as you recall, to get the planters horizontal.
Right, to get them leveled up.
We mined a little bit of the contingency money that was left in Charleston when we signed the funding agreement.
Right.
You signed the
Right.
funding agreement. We mined that out and used it to get the planters done.
Yeah.
Which I think was, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah, we had no choice, actually.
And I suspect, from what I got out of Mark and Schooler Company, was that's one of the first time anybody's done.
Yeah.
You have to remember where you're going.
Yeah.
Because you get to spend it, usually.
Right.
So,
Well, that's why it's marked
And in that,
contingencies.
It was a big
You know.
contingency.
in that same vein, and this is the park project, is Gordon and I sent a note to Mark. I think we alluded to the fact we had to do it, we gave them a sort of a punch list of things we wanted an answer to.
Mhm.
Before you would sign, the sponsor would sign the agreement.
Right.
On the other side, I think we have an agreement from the Park Foundation that, yes, they're gonna put all their money on the table. They were having an issue over, well, is
Right.
it just the first grant in the match, or is it the first grant plus the second grant they in the match?
Right.
From my read, and we told the foundation this couple weeks, months ago, whatever, that it was to their benefit to just put it all on the table. That's not gonna benefit you. We'll second thing is, we wanted the state to accept that it's not going to be a prefab bridge, period. It's not gonna be to lift the old one, fix it, and put
Right.
it back. And they have to fix the drawings to do that. Well, you don't get a straight answer. You know, you got people just tell us yes, no. So we sent it to Mark and Gold, because I talked to Jeff too, about, come on, let's just have an answer on this. Get a new estimate, because what's scaring me is they say, I'm hearing Mark say this, that if the bid comes in higher than the signed funding agreement, they're trying to make the sponsor responsible for 100% of the difference.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, I know, but
It
you know
doesn't
what,
surprise me.
you know what we went through with 4A?
Yeah.
Well, the view was that second grant that they used was awarded to the town. So we did an 80-20.
Right.
on The overage, and that's why you got 4A, it's too expensive, but we got it. So, but that other thing, it's scary for that to happen. I can't see how they could possibly do it. Because if the bid comes in over the funding agreement, it means the government estimate is wrong.
Right.
And your fingerprints are not on that estimate. So it's just, I can't believe that they could ever pull this off. So I'll
Now just keep us in the loop. on it.
ferret it out. You see, the fun never stops.
Yep, I was gonna say the merry-go-round
Go
goes
say
around,
goodbye
ain't it?
to the folks as they take their tractor out of town
Yeah,
and turn around and work on the next thing.
yeah, yeah.
Question.
Sir,
Now that the corners are completed,
yes,
do we have any clue when DOH is gonna come along and complete the paving of Congress?
no, but I will push on it. It's time that they do. it.
Yeah.
Yeah, complete the paving, yeah, they gotta do the whole, well, they're gonna do the whole Washington. Street.
Yeah, they need to do.
And they would pick up the apron on Congress Street by doing it. That was what I got, the District 5 got.
That's why all the corners had to be done, because they
Yeah.
said once the corners was done,
Yeah.
that they were gonna pave
Yeah.
522.
But I specifically showed them where we were gonna pave on Congress, and leaving the rest to DOH when they paved 522.
Right,
I will remember that.
okay.
Because I think JP, John Burns, is an honorable person.
So if you have PPA money left over, which you indicated there might be some, is that available for, what's it available for?
I don't think it's available for anything other than the grants that it's available for.
There's a reimbursable.
If I know federal money.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get the money until you spend it.
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Down at the depot, where we took those trees out the other year, is there somebody gonna come get them? If not, are they supposed to be used for something?
Yeah, we're using those. Those
Okay.
are part of the next phase for 1B.
Okay, I just
That's
wanted to
part
make
of that.
sure, because I had a couple questions, somebody wanted them, and I said, no, can't take them until I find out from the committee if they're already taken
Now,
for
we're
something. So
stockpiling that stuff down there for use on
Okay.
1B.
I thought that's what it was, I thought we had talked about that at one time, but I couldn't remember, so, okay,
Probably need more before it's over.
okay.
And we ended up, one final thing, we ended up with a lot more pavers than we had when the contractor came to town. So they replaced the ones they used with the new ones, and they left broken pallets.
So we can use
We
those
can
around
use
the depot.
Yeah, we can use them, yeah, we can find a place for them, believe me. Okay, any more questions for Rails and Trails or Streetscapes?
All right,
Thank you all, appreciate it.
I gotta go.
Okay, Train Depot, Ed's replaced for request for bids, so we're moving along on that.
And that's just a time thing.
Yeah.
That's just a time thing in that, I think they're expecting to be able to open bids.
So,
But it's just a timing thing now, it's a certain amount of time before we have to be
right,
let, and then I think he's expecting opening still in October.
yeah, it's, what, you know,
That'll be exciting.
so
to see
hopefully
those
we'll have
results.
that let out and be ready to go,
Yeah.
and that'll all come together too,
That'd be
so.
nice.
So anyway, Landmark Commission, I know, you know, we're kind of in limbo right now. We've got the update on the SHPO.
I have an update.
Okay.
So I spoke with Ryan Urbane today. Ryan he has a
copy of the clear check from Grove Valley. He also called and spoke to Lisa today. They received it. And as well, I received an email, I guess Christy Moore from Chippo was reaching out in regards to Mr. Bridgen. I called and left her voicemail right before this meeting to let her know that that Ryan is going to express mail the documents they need tomorrow.
Okay.
So that way she'll have everything tomorrow, which means that's the last step in order for the county to reimburse.
Yeah, we get the reimbursement there. So,
So that should be just
That
about
will work itself out in the
yeah,
wash.
so it should be about finished.
good deal.
Well,
Thank you.
landmark, I'm gonna go ahead and be through that part of the
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Okay, we started working on changing our historic preservation ordinance back to 5 members, all would be residing within the town or be property owners within the town of Bath. And we'll get this to Sharon. The only other change that we looked at making was section 4 was select one of the members as a chairperson, one of the members as a secretary, should be that here record. But we added in there that one member would serve as a treasurer, like Ryan is doing, who would work in conjunction with the town clerk, because we handle the money. So I just wanted that to be a part of that. And other than that, no other changes really needed to be made to that. Okay, so that's the first part. So for the next meeting, we'll probably do a first reading on those changes, but it'll be an amendment to what's currently there.
All right, well, let's move on then to clerk and reporters. Madam Clerk, do you have any?
No, just to let you know that the auditors will be here tomorrow to do their annual audits on finances.
And we didn't touch it.
Only gonna take them a day. Oh,
We really wanted to, but we didn't touch it. Okay, Madam Recorder. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to finance then.
All right, keep going.
Real off. All right. So I'd like to make a motion to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $20,766.19.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $20,766.19. Any discussion?
Yeah, I didn't have something that we found in looking through the bills, including the cemetery bills that may be helpful in looking at the workers' comp and comparisons of workers' comp valuations and companies and like this. There may be a way that the cemetery workers' comp can be included and we get one bill for workers' comp. Should there be an employee in the cemetery, it be included. It can't be.
No, it's a different entity, you've got a different DIN number.
But do they have common ownership? The town of Bath owns them both,
Yeah, we do own both.
so they can be put on the same policy. So you can have 10, you can have 50 FEIN numbers, as long as it's common ownership. You can put them on one policy. They'll just add that class code to the policy. So you'll get one bill versus 2 bills.
And we'll talk to you about that. That was something that we were
Yeah.
talking about.
It
That
might
we
be easier if you have a less, one less bill.
one less bill and maybe less money and, pull things out. That's the only thing that we saw about it, so.
Okay, great.
Call the question.
Wonderful. Anybody else have anything? All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs water bill of $3,347.97.
They have a motion, a second on the floor to pay the town, the Berkeley Springs waterwork bills in the amount of $3,347.97. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the cemetery bill in the amount of $4,784. Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the floor to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $4,784 even. Any discussion?
I might just bring up here that includes, from what we can tell, the mower's total payment. all the
Oh, the
payments
final
of- the final payments for the mowers in the cemeteries.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
For the routine mowing.
Yeah,
For the
for the,
routine, anything extra is,
Is it growing, Beth, crazy since the rain?
Yes,
But I,
it
that's
actually
what I
looks,
figured.
looks worse right now than it has,
Mm.
probably 6 weeks. Yeah.
all right, we'll have to figure out something. We'll see. Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the rail trail bill of $240.
We have a motion, do I have a second? Second? Yeah. Didn't hear him. Motion and second on the floor to pay the rail trail bills for $240 even. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Just make sure that everything is all right. Then we can move on to tree board down. We heard anything from the tree board or anything?
because
We're in let's see. We're in the process, I've got information about our tree survey that I gotta get to Lance, straight. We did have a meeting last month, we did it online. And we are moving forward with further research on the grant to do the software grant that Kate Lemming can talk to you about. She's doing a little more research on that. Otherwise, that was the main topic of discussion. So, we have another meeting scheduled for next month. And they are going to work with us also for, a tree planting in Greenway Cemetery. And the one area that got cleared near the shed, I guess it would be north of the shed, that area was very, very well tidied up, I should say. Was mowed along the guardrail. We are going to be planting several flowering bushes there and a couple of small flowering trees to just beautify that area of the cemetery, and the hopes that maybe sometime in the next couple of years we can actually put a columbarium on that leveled area. Even if we don't, it just adds to the beauty of the cemetery. So they're going to be assisting us with that as well. So, okay, I think that's all that people.
All right. Thank
We
you,
still
Doug.
have trees in the German cemetery that we need to
Going
look
to Germany, we,
Holding.
yeah, I don't think they've actually made contact with or got all that. I don't know. Do you know, Beth, did they mention anything about that?
The last I heard was they had contacted the homeowner about the cars. He said, yes, they can move them. But Greg says, we touch them, we have responsibility for them. If, if they're dent, they can say, oh, you dented that wasn't in that car. So, we're just gonna have to talk about it some more. But that has been the issue as to them being able to get into the cemetery and get those 3 trees removed. And, I know that Tree Works is behind in their schedule because they've lost an employee or a couple of employees or whatever. So they're behind like everybody else that has work. But the big issue has been the vehicles and being able to get back to the area where they need to. So they were actually gonna look at another contractor, but, that won't solve the issue of the cars. So I'm gonna talk to Greg about it some more. He just mentioned that in the finance committee that, it's something we need to think about. And I'll talk to the tree board about it at our next meeting.
the property owner have to do sign some type of waiver.
Maybe a whole harmless agreement or something.
Hold on,
Okay.
Yeah,
Because he said, well, I don't care if you can go ahead, you can move them.
yeah, but I don't think they're his cars. I think it's a company that owns or rents the building from them.
It's Dean that
It's
said
the towing company that owns
he
it,
said
right?
he could move them.
Okay.
It was Dean that said it, not really.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's see if we can talk about that, see if we can get some type of agreement that, if we do or if we have to, so that would be something with the tree board to come up with an agreement. like I said, I don't wanna pay for somebody's damaged car instead of, or damage to the car if it's not even running, you know, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do they run or anything? That's what I'm thinking, we have to go and tow
Yeah, you probably have to pull them forward.
them. Sit back there and they don't look like they're doing that.
According to the tree board, they don't even have to be moved that much to make access for the equipment.
Right,
But they are in the way where they currently sit.
alright, let's see what we can,
We'll keep working on it.
okay, let's move on to grants.
All right, so besides the grant with HLC that we're getting wrapped up, I'm just gonna take a look at, into this, I believe that you gave me for the Two Rivers Giving Circle, the grant, I'm just gonna look into that, I just got this today.
I've already applied for that for the cemetery.
Okay, so you've already applied for that for the,
Yes.
okay, for historic preservation,
Right, I applied for, $1,900 to reset the General Barstow headstone, which is the only Civil War soldier that we have in Greenway Cemetery. So I applied for $900 to have the headstone refurbished, and reset, properly reset. And then also $4,000, for an educational sign that would, let the public know who this gentleman is and why he's buried here, why he's buried in Greenway and his importance in the Civil War. And then in conjunction with that, we would sponsor some kind of a public event to bring school children in so they could see the unveiling and learn some Civil War history, and perhaps have project game kind of thing where they could go through the cemetery and look for, based on their last name, see if they have any relatives in the cemetery or friends, or neighbors or whatever, they have relatives in the cemetery. Or this is kind of my first step in trying to awaken the community's interest in their relatives buried in Greenway that might step forward and help contribute toward resetting some of the headstones that have fallen, especially for families that are well established in the area that have been here for generations, that everybody knows their name. So that's the Two Rivers Circle grant I applied for.
So,
okay.
so if you applied for it, you can't look
I was
for
gonna ask
another.
Is it just a one-time thing?
They do it every year. It's a grant that's available every year. I
And you only apply
don't know their record if we apply for it this year, we get it, if they're gonna kind of set Bath aside for a while, or, if-
When you applied, did you apply specifically on behalf of the cemetery or the
Yes.
town of Bath? Yep,
yeah.
they understand that the
Because it
cemetery
had,
is the town of Bath.
because my understanding is that it's for nonprofits. The Two Rivers is for 501c3s, which Cemetery Corporation is, and that's why I applied for the corporation rather than.
Would your applying preclude Greg from trying to apply for the
Yeah,
town?
he wouldn't be, we wouldn't be eligible because
No.
we're not a nonprofit, if that's the
That's my
case.
understanding, and it's said
Right.
501c3, and I had to include our EIN number, but
Okay, then that would.
if they have other aspects of it, I'm not aware. They
You
do,
might call
this organization does offer several different types of grants. but,
Okay.
um,
And my other thing was, I've been looking online for additional grants. I'm new looking for grants and still trying to figure out all of our resources, but if any additional chairs, anybody has anything specific they would like me to search for, like anything you need money for.
Money for roads,
Yeah,
Roads.
that one's the one I already have, I've been
Money
looking
for
for today
roads.
for.
yeah.
So anything specific that you guys, let me know, and then I'll look for it on top of whatever you guys are doing, I'll help you as well.
Yeah, I
for
think
grants for
roads
it.
number one. We could find something to help us repair or replace or,
Cases are paid.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tried to do at least 2 roads a year, but, they're
There's
expensive
many more.
Yeah,
and, and there's a lot of need out there to repair it, just, so, yeah. If you can find something like that, that would be great.
okay, but if anything pops up and it crosses your mind, just email it to me, and then I'll just put it on my list of grants to search for. Because I found out it was a lot easier if I was searching for something more specific,
Mhm.
when I was searching for grants.
Right.
Because if not, it gives you an extremely broad list of grants.
The other thing that I would say in conjunction with the Grant Cemetery is Matt Pennington will be at the next meeting for grants, which is cemetery. Next cemetery committee meeting, which is,
21st.
the fourth Wednesday of the month. What is that, September 21, excuse me, October 21. What month are we in?
September.
September.
Are we on
I'm
the
getting-
21st is
I'm
a
getting
Tuesday.
ahead of myself here.
Yeah, where the hell are we?
September
Yeah, we're still
21st.
on
This
grants.
is Matt Pennington from,
Region 9.
Downstream,
He's building.
Downstream Strategies
Oh,
will be attending the cemetery committee meeting. I'd like to invite the town council, especially the grant committee. His business that he's working for is a private foundation, as I understand it, that helps municipalities apply for grants for specific needs within the community
Mm.
that I think it works like Region 9. I shouldn't be speaking out of turn because I'm not exactly sure, but they help locate grants, they help apply for them, they help administer them, and then they get a fee for the work that they do. And I could be wrong because I don't know for sure, but that's the sense that I
Right.
have. Matt Pennington is coming on the 21st at 4 o'clock. We're all invited to attend, and he's going to talk specifically how he could help the cemetery find grant money for specific projects that need to be done in the cemetery. And he knows we don't have any money and we can't pay his company, that this is gonna be kind of a consignment. And he would like very much to come speak with us, because he's got a lot of good ideas. So,
Matt Pennington was the one that came up with the name of the grant that we got for the cemetery, pushing up daisies.
Right, which National Fish and Wildlife rejected the name and changed it to Greenway, but,
They did.
yeah,
Wow.
they did.
I didn't know they changed it.
Yeah, they thought that was a little bit,
Well, I
might
thought
make
it
some
was-
people uneasy.
Nature Love.
Yeah, well, it is.
I thought it was clever too.
All right.
So anyway, you're all invited
Here.
to that,
At 4 p.m. here.
here at 4 p.m.
All right, let's go.
Tuesday the 21st.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. We're actually still in tree, but we kind of jumped around a little bit.
We are.
We're
Just
perhaps-
trying to
Let
we're-
me know.
we're just finished grants,
Oh,
because he just said he's done. So let's go forward to, public safety.
Our next public safety meeting is going to be October 19th. I'm going to be out of town on the night, on September 21st and 22nd.
That's a Sunday. September.
October.
So the-
October.
So there is one in September.
Yeah, we're not gonna have
Okay.
one, it's
I'm
19.
sorry. That's okay. I'm out of town
Alright.
those 2 days.
October,
October, what's the date, please?
19th.
Thank you.
October.
Okay, all right, is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Now, Beth, do you have any more on cemetery?
I already checked it off.
Whoops.
Oh,
my goodness.
What are you
I'm
doing?
done with cemetery.
Please, I
Take
would
me
back
back.
up here.
Pay attention, Fred.
How dare you ask any questions?
I'm done with cemetery already.
I don't think I've seen that in all these years.
I'm glad the camera caught it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, it's going right at it.
Actually, there is one other grant that I have applied for. I applied for infrastructure
She's been busy.
green, it's with Alana Hartman, I think with, subdivision of EPA, and it's a really, really, really long name of a grant. So that's why I can never remember. It's something about infrastructure and green. I applied for that grant, for several $100s to close off a road in the old section of Greenway that is, a terrible source of erosion that we think will eventually affect the paved road in the front of, at the front of the cemetery. Matt Pennington is the one that worked on this with me before he lost Region 9. He's the one that helped me identify it, how we can handle the issue. It's really just a matter of closing it off, grading it, grousing it over, maybe putting some kind of decorative bench as in the sense of a barrier so people don't drive in this area any longer. It's a road that's been there since the beginning of the cemetery, but it's never used. And it's, like I said, it's adding to a very bad source of runoff that we don't want to destroy our paved road and that part of the cemetery. So I have applied for that grant. I will find out in November if we're eligible.
Is that on US grants? Is that US grant?
No, it's one that Sharon sent out to the town council and I just followed up and applied for it. This was actually, well, no, I applied for it last month, so we, I was gonna bring it up the next grant committee, but since I, I'm informing you, so those are the 3 grants that I have out right now between that and the other 2. The cemetery is, as we all know, we cut the grass until Labor Day. The Morgan Messenger graciously published an article that I wrote, indicating that we are done with the grass cutting until next spring. We invite families to come into Greenway and care for their family plots and maybe the plots around the family plots, in an effort to try to keep the cemetery looking decent until winter. The contractor did a very good job this season. The dry weather helped tremendously. It actually freed us up to do an extra project in the cemetery when we can place a regular mowing. And we are looking at possibly mowing the southern border, the south border of the cemetery as well this fall. So we're inviting the public, as I said, to contribute their labor in any way that they can to try and help keep the cemetery looking decent, since this is now moving into the rainy season and the grass was mowed. The contractors finished them Friday, Saturday for the season. Everything was done, but within a couple of days it won't. Some areas aren't gonna look like they've been mowed for weeks, even though they were just.
Wednesday happened.
Yeah, so just think of your yard, what happens in your yard is what happens in the cemetery, so. Otherwise, I think I indicated last time, the signs are up. I don't know if the signs that said no through traffic have helped. I guess that's something the police department can keep an eye out for us. Otherwise, I think that's it.
You've been busy.
Yep, she has. All right, Public Works.
First off, just a big thank you to Rodney and his crew for all that they did. I mean, they routinely every week they go and they check all the storm drains all over town. Wednesday, knowing what was coming, they did what they normally do, but they did it every day. And while the rain was coming on, they went through and made sure not only that ours were, but any of the ones that were DOHs, they went through and cleared all that out. I went out at noon last Wednesday. Everything was flowing fine. We were very lucky that it stopped exactly when it did. But went around when it was done, and ours were still all running smoothly. Drove around up here, all the infrastructure, the streetscape stuff, did what it had to do. The park, I mean, was like,
It was close.
It's close.
Yeah.
So I told Rodney and his crew that, we can't thank them enough for all they did, and I talked with Trish that she was gonna put something in the paper about that. Public Works had some concerns, the work crew did, about some of the vehicles and trailers parked up on Wilk Street. And they gave me some addresses that I'm gonna turn over to police. 530 Wilk Street. How you probably know, whichever is 530, you would probably know, and Scott, you would know. An old travel trailer, an abandoned car, a trailer full of junk, old tires on the side of the street, trash. 415 Wilk Street, wherever, I'm not sure. An abandoned Ford 150, truck parts on the street, and tires and wheels. So I'm gonna request the police, go visit these two and give them like a month. cleaned up and get rid of them, and then we can have them moved somewhere and then at their expense. And the other concern was that people are, the new ordinance about parking in the direction of the traffic flow, so if you're on this side of the street, you should be parked facing this way, if you're parked on this side of the street, you should be facing this way, and that's not, so we'll just get the police to enforce that a little bit more. But I didn't forget these two. Talked with Rodney, he's going to, by October 15th, have all the winter equipment ready to rock and roll for, I'm not gonna say the S word.
No.
And we're gonna schedule the fall pickup for debris, leaves, twigs, as long as they're bagged on Tuesday, November 16th. You could put that in for us, Trish?
Yep.
But people put it out all the time, and if we can accommodate it, we pick them up on other
It's
days, but
bagged
that's
and-
the day.
And also the sticks can be bound, right?
Yeah,
Right.
they
Yeah,
can down.
just the
and
same
we're
old,
back.
same
Yeah,
old.
same as
Yeah.
we've always done.
No longer than 4 feet.
Rodney will have to-
He gets it.
Okay, that's all for public works.
Okay, thank you. All right, ordinance, let's just keep down and just keep going.
Okay, I already talked about the Historic Landmark Commission, what'll be coming their way. And we'll go back a page. Okay, what we talked about at the last meeting was going ahead and adopting the state of West Virginia form that the assessor's office currently uses for building permits, et cetera. So we're going to go into our ordinance book, and we're going to replace chapter 14 of the town code, which is buildings and building regulations, with the notice of building and real property improvement form, which is used by the Morgan County Assessor's Office in the state of West Virginia. So this will replace section 14 in the codification book.
Can I have that when you're done with it?
Not right now, it's the only copy I have,
Okay.
but you can get one from the assessor's officer. I think probably Sharon has.
Is-
You have this, right?
Has this been approved? Have we already
No,
gone through
it
two?
hasn't.
No, no,
This
No,
is
no,
what-
I'll wait.
This
I'll
is,
wait.
gonna have
this
to
is
go
what
through
we're gonna
two
do
readings
in
once
the
we get this in
ordinance.
the right format.
Yeah,
Okay.
we met with the county.
We'll probably bring up both the HLC and this change for a first reading the next meeting. And then the following meeting after that could be the second reading, and then it will be.
That's when I will
That's
want
what
it.
you want.
Right.
Okay, that'll be a part of the package.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and I already did historic landmarks, so ordinance is good.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, last on our agenda is the waterworks.
Water, we got three things. First, we need to table the water tower lease addendum. I just need to get it on paper, and I apologize, I haven't had a chance to do that. The second thing is that our next meeting for the committee is this coming Monday, the 13th at 4:30 here. At the municipal center. And the third thing is, we have made a new hire for the front office. Candy Morris will be joining the water office as water office manager on September 20th. The 13th, okay. So, we went through the interview process and interviewed several candidates, and this particular candidate we decided upon has a lot of the kind of the billing and background skills that we think will be very helpful to the office, as well as the material skills. So hopefully, happy thoughts and wishful thoughts on that as we go forward with that. But she'll be transitioning in with us on the 13th. Yeah, and that's all I have.
Anybody for the plan?
Not yet. We haven't. We've got ads out, but to date we've not done any interviews.
That's difficult.
Yeah, that's challenging. So yeah, we're looking for class 1 and class 2 operators for the water plant. We'll train, and there's as you advance in those operator classes, there's pay increases that come with that, as well as the town benefits. Please, if you're interested, come to town office and fill out an application.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
All right, this is the point I ask if there's anything else that needs to come before our council this evening.
I
ARP grant money, for the cemetery. I'm thinking, unfortunately, I'm not sure there's anything there for Greenway, but, I know we're up against some kind of deadline. What are we doing? Do we have to
We have the
identify?
committee, we have the ad hoc committee of myself and Greg and Tony Lee.
Okay.
And Tony's been recovering from surgery and things, but we're trying to get that group together. Sometime later this week, actually, maybe Friday afternoon, to kind of start talking and looking at what we have in terms of, potential candidates for that money and how we want to proceed with, this first distribution in terms of allocating.
It's a little bit different than what is showing on the treasury because our money came through the state. So the requirements that you see in the interim and the other documents do not pertain to the municipalities.
But tentatively, we're looking at Friday at around 2. I don't know if that works for you.
Yeah, any-
Greg, so hopefully we'll touch base with Tony, but tentatively that's what we're looking at. And we may have to do a Zoom meeting with Tony if he's not able to get in here. So, looking at those issues, it's Friday at 2. Probably. Try to get together on that.
I'd get that posted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll get that to you.
Okay, anything else needs to come before council? If not, I'll entertain a common consent to, everybody good?
It's over.
Slam that gavel.
Done.
It's over.
Done.
Sure.
Finished. Don't you be doing that.
It is now.